Uh, start.
Okay. Hello, my name is Edmund Bediako. This is our fourth and final podcast on steroid use in gym culture and athletic spaces. I'm here with,
Uh, my name is Devontae Woods, and I attend Vanguard High School. We're gonna start off by recapping our last podcast. I mean, you want to start off?
yeah, I would love to start off. So first, our last podcast, it has been a while, so we did need to retouch on it. But our last podcast, we are just building off of the things we said in the previous one. We were talking about how we are talking about influencers and stakeholders and the people who profit off the business of steroids and why it's basically still in use, why it's still a thing, and the people who suffer from steroids but continue to use it anyway. We acknowledge the stakeholders and the people all factoring into this being who was it? Being, if you could remind me, I'm pretty sure if I'm wrong, you could say I'm wrong. The pharmaceutical companies that list out these steroids, the doctors that prescribe it, um, the influencers who kind of promote it without promoting it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And the middle, the mid, the working class man or the teenagers who buy it, who says, just to feel, feel good about themselves and all that, and also the athletes. We can't forget about the athletes who take it to get an edge in winning, get an edge in their sport.
Yeah, steroids is. I feel like steroids are all about competitiveness, right? We see a lot of these bodybuilders train hard, but we also talked about hitting a natural plateau, which meaning is like hitting your. How can I put it? Like, when you train your body so hard, you kind of stagnant at the same weight. That's what we call plateau, right? So these influencers hit a plateau
Hmm.
and just resort to taking steroids. Where you could just there's something called bulking and cutting. Bulking is like eating over a surplus, which is I would say I can give you an example. So say if I weigh 190, right? I would have to
Yep.
consume over 190 grams of protein to at least gain muscle mass, right?
Yep.
And
Correct.
for bulking, it's two times more protein you got to intake. So I said 190, so it had to be like 205, right? And you have to up
Hmm.
your calories. So say if you take 3,200, you have to take two times as that. But that's depending on your weight. It could like fluctuate a little bit. But
Hmm.
back on topic, yeah, I feel like athletes take it for competitiveness. You agree, Evan?
Yes, I fully agree. If you would let me chime in here, actually, when I actually wrote the paper, the final paper for MG's class, which is, what the podcast is based on, I wrote this before the completion of the fourth podcast. So I had a chance to actually dive in and do more research, specifically on the NFL, the NBA, MLB, the major sports leagues that have, been caught up in steroid scandals, have some had some of their best players caught up in steroid scandals. And basically, from my research, I found that from 2009 to around maybe 2015 is when the biggest, or no, from 2009 to around 2012 is when the biggest steroid in all these major leagues steroid usage and all that was like starting to, primarily between the primarily between the MLB and NFL. That's when the biggest use of steroids was starting to be revealed, pretty much. And I think a staggering maybe 2% or or 1% was found to be between each league of athletes who took steroids in those leagues and were caught using those. So what athletes were saying basically, their excuse for using steroids was everyone does. You said hold up.
Nah, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh,
I'm agreeing with you. Keep going.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah. What basically what athletes were saying from my findings and the conversations they were having with coaches and managers and media about why they did it was because everyone else around them did it. All the other athletes
Uh,
around them did it, so they felt a need to also do it to stay on their level, to stay winning. Now, from the data I found and the research I found, it suggests that this actually wasn't the case and that it actually wasn't everyone doing it. It was actually a very small amount. Maybe maybe a person across maybe across three teams, it was one person across three teams. Maybe.
yeah.
Across the whole league, maybe it was like maybe a good five players out of the in the NFL it's about 1,049. So and
Yeah,
in the MLB it's about 220. So five players in each is such a small statistic. Is barely like it doesn't make sense. Not everyone is doing it. So I think more of the reason is these athletes are using that as an excuse, like everyone is doing it to kind of justify the moral ambiguity or the moral question of whether steroids are worth it or not. Whether steroid you should take steroids or not.
yeah. I
That's what
mean,
I believe right now. But Devontae, what are you thinking?
uh, I feel like nah. I actually want to dive into our like personal experiences because I feel like we all had a experience where we encountered a person in the gym that looked like they take steroids, and I want to talk about a time. Well, it actually just happened recently, right? A week ago. It was somebody. It was like a guy working out, right? And you could tell if somebody takes steroids because he had bumps on him. Like, yeah. Oh, also be careful on how much you inject because it could also lead to bad acne. I forgot to talk about that, but we could talk about that after. But yeah, I want to head it like I want to talk about personal experiences. So I'm working out, right, minding my business, and he asked for the machine, and then I'm looking at his arms, his back. It's just like red dots on it. Like it was like he just injected some like into his arm, right? So
Uh
with
huh.
all this being said, I'm just trying to tell y'all like be careful on what y'all put in your body because your body can have a bad reaction to it, and it could lead to further damages. Yeah, further damages or like lifelong damages that you can't recover from. You know, Evan, you agree?
Def, definitely, definitely. I like that
Definitely.
disclosure. I like that you told everyone, watch out for what you're injecting and putting into your body. And I think that's something we also need to touch on very much so with these influencer spaces. We need to start holding these influencers accountable for not listing the negative side effects of what they're doing. And some of them outright just don't admit what they're doing. Some of them outright just lie and continue to just hide from what they're doing. But I also, they're at blame too, but I don't want to put full blame onto them. I will also put blame onto how people kind of in our world, when something is morally questionable, whether it's wrong or right, it's always put in the wrong. It's never really a real conversation, it's just put in the wrong. No one has ever outright said steroids are like no major person has outright just said steroids are wrong. If we go back in history and actually look at the facts, it was actually cocaine and harder drugs that mess with your mind that were being banned, and steroids just happens to be grouped in that band because they fall under drugs. So
Yeah.
steroids and testosterone pretty much put under there. But nowhere has the U.S. history in U.S. history has steroids actually ever been like major U.S. history has steroids actually ever been like, no, it's bad. It has to be banned. It's always a moral see, saying the word wrong,
You
and
good?
question around steroids,
Yeah.
around that. So I feel like as a society, we do have to start pressing on whether we have to get into these challenging conversations and pressing on whether steroids are bad or good. A lot of athletes say they're okay to use because, or the athletes that have been caught with it, their justification is the sport demands a lot mentally. The fans demand a lot mentally. You have to always keep performing, or else you're losing out on money. And I'm not talking about basic money, not basic $5. I'm talking about millions and millions of dollars. And that's a lot of pressure for a person. You're losing out on fans, money, and you're being slandered on the internet. Those type of pressures would fuel athletes to do stuff like take steroids. And I understand that. I understand that. So their reasoning too for athletes, a lot of them that do get caught is, oh, if they expect us to compete at our best, they expect us to keep playing for our best at our best for very long, unrealistic times. Fans in the league alike. So why not do something about it and actually do something that can actually allow us to play for that
Yeah.
long? Though some athletes contest that. Some people agree with that. Some people don't agree with that. I think truthfully the conversation of steroids, you can't outright just put them in a bad spot. They are very bad when by the end of their object. They're not the ones. They're not. It's an object. It's not the one that's promoting itself
Yeah.
and promoting, and misinforming people of itself. So influencers at the beginning of it all have to be held accountable, because they keep putting teenagers and working men into this trap of gym, 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 gym. Oh, now I feel like I plateaued in the gym, like I reached my natural limit. Now let me start steroids, without ever consulting a doctor, without ever researching into it, just straight into, okay, let me go straight into it, and that's how they overdose on it, or they They just ruin their body. They just throw off their whole body with it. Then they're stuck on it their whole entire life.
Yeah, I want to talk about more about athletes, right? There's an athlete named Ben Johnson, right? He's a
Mm-hmm.
Canadian sprinter, and he was stripped of his 1988 Olympic gold medal after testing positive for anabolic steroid. So I wanted to let y'all know it's a consequence to everything you do, right? Whether it's that consequence is gonna take a toll on your body or the professional sport you play, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is like I just talked about right now. This guy named Ben Johnson. So this is going back to what I said. Just be careful on what you inject into your body. Do your research. Research is very key when it's like coming to steroids, right? We see these doctors prescribe it, and previously in our other podcast, we talked about how doctors take steroids too, which we're gonna get into that too. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if you have to take steroids, like meaning if your doctor prescribes it, that's the only way you should take it, right? Meaning like if you have a low test and you need your test to go up a little bit more, you could take it,
Mm-hmm.
but don't overdo it, right? Because like we said, it could lead to it could lead to heart problems, right? And
Yeah.
we talked about before, it could lead to skin. It can actually lead to skin conditions too. Actually,
Oh, that's a
like
new fact you taught me. I didn't know that.
yeah, like man, your skin start peeling. I saw somebody's skin peel from it. Like it's nasty, right? And then
Yeah,
if
so yeah.
yeah, but oh, and also this YouTuber named Sam Sulik, and I know you saw when his face like had little bumps on it, and you
Yeah.
could tell he took steroids. Like you could like it's like he was aging fast because he was
Uh-huh.
taking steroids. So
Yeah.
all I'm saying is like be careful on what you're injecting to your body because in the long run, it's gonna take a toll on you. You know?
Yeah, of course. Of course. I fully agree. I actually wanted to have a guest on the podcast if we did end up doing an episode 5,
Yeah.
who's from my gym. He takes testosterone. He does it for a medical reason. That also goes to my argument about how steroids can actually be, because at the end of the day they're a hormone. They're only messing with you this bad if you take a huge amount because it's giving you a hormone imbalance. I know a guy pretty much who came into this country maybe 2019, I want to say. Came in this country from a third world country, very skinny, no facial hair. He was getting to the age of 17, still was like 5'2". No major growth spurt in his whole life. That's just his natural height. And then after that, he wasn't, no facial hair, no nothing, no sign of his age. He was 17 looking about maybe 11 or 10 or 12 at the most. He went to the doctors after maybe a year of looking like this and people commenting on it and how young he looked. And after that, he started taking the doctor prescribed him testosterone because they noticed that whatever he was eating in his third world country that he was in before for his whole life, he didn't get the nutrients needed to survive and for his body to stay up to date. So he started having to take testosterone, and he does it consistently now. Every week he has to take about 2 doses. I'm pretty sure in that week, right into his vein, right into the arm, or no, not right into his vein, right into his arm, right into his muscle. Pretty much, he has to take it in. And right now he went from 5'2". Right now he's about 6'2". Right now he's about 6'2".
Six
Has
two.
maybe a 6'2". Has maybe like a whole goatee coming in, a heavy mustache, and full head of hair. Full head of hair. Even his hair too back then was very thin and very like wavy, as if like he was balding or something. Now he's just, so testosterone steroids is just testosterone. It can have positive effects in the right circumstances and with the right doctors. That's how I feel. That's what I believe. Um, on the other hand, like I said,
Yeah.
influencers are the problem. I think the people who promote steroids and how to use them are the problem because they're not promoting it to actually help people, and that's the issue. There's no promotion to help people. It's promotion to make money and put money in everyone's pockets, and that's our issue in our current world, our current country. We're a very capitalist country. If you guys know what that means that we're worried about selling. We're worried about money first. We're worried about the industries first before we're worried about actually like actual before worried about
All right. You can take
actual
your
stuff.
time.
Yeah, yeah,
I time it right here. You
yeah.
can take your time.
You can try me.
Yeah, I want to really give them a definition of anabolic steroids and what it really is, right? Um,
Mhm.
It's basically an abused drug, like an abused drug to boost your testosterone, and it can also
Uh-huh.
promote muscle growth, enhance athletic like abilities, meaning like your speed, strength, and stuff
Uh-huh.
like that, like physical enhancements, and improve your physical appearance. Which I feel like it's a lie because we just talked about skin condition and all that, but yeah. Also,
Uh-huh.
it could also cause
Yeah.
swelling and redness. Like we also talked about the bumps gonna have like gonna have little red spots and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But to get into
Mhm.
influencers, right? Excuse me, I got stuffy nose, but
Yeah,
right?
me too, bro. We both good.
Yeah. To get into God forbid, I don't want to be sick. To get into influencers
Yeah,
though,
that's it.
but yeah,
Mhm.
to get into influence though, influencers, sorry. I
Mhm.
feel like they have high power and a high interest, right? Just because these influencers that have 1 million subscribers, 2 million and above, have so much
Mhm.
power. They
Mhm.
influence the youth and they talk about certain stuff to people that look
Mhm.
up to them. So,
Yeah.
excuse me. Yeah, right. Excuse me. But yeah, they talk about these steroids that like it's nothing, right? But in all
Mhm.
reality, it can change somebody's life. Probably for the better or for worse. Which I feel like for worse because you want to live long, right? Like the average
Yeah.
person will want to live long, right? And these
Yeah.
companies are exploiting these influencers, and these influencers helping these companies promote these steroids to the youth, which is like I feel like it's bad. I feel like steroids should just be banned all around because
Mhm.
we see these influencers like Sam Sulek, Trent Twins, even Alex Eubank, right? He was a natural lifter, and he started hopping on testosterone just because his doctor prescribed it. But as time went on, he kept upping the dose because he saw his progress in the gym. That's all ego, right? That's
He
all
gets
ego. Yeah,
addicted.
yeah, it's
Ego addiction. Yep.
ego and addiction. His ego went up, and he upped his test, which made him bigger. I'm not gonna, which made him bigger, but it's gonna have side effects. He explained it in his video that he couldn't sleep, but before he had good sleep. When he was taking like certain doses that his doctor prescribed him, it was cool, right? And he had good sleep. He was eating good. He was doing all that. You feel me? Everything was good. But as soon as his ego got in the way, and he upped his test by a substantial amount, that's when
Mhm.
that's when everything turned south, right? He started losing a little bit of sleep. He was feeling drowsy. And we know this YouTuber as a natural lifter, but as we said, steroids can be addictive. You're gonna see for the first time you take steroids, you're gonna see, oh yeah, my biceps bigger, my chest bigger, but it get addictive, right? You're gonna start injecting
Mhm.
the needle everywhere for everything to get bigger.
Yep.
And I mean everything, I mean everything.
Mhm.
And I mean everything. You feel me?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
excuse me. But if you want
Yeah.
to chime in,
Yeah. I fully agree with everything you said. It's actually interesting that you said. I like your vocabulary. High power, high interest, the influences. That's very true. They do have high power, high interest. Um, I think more so they have more power than even the companies that make these steroids. Because
yeah,
the companies that make these steroids, you actually never you hear their names here and there, but you'll actually rarely ever hear their names. It's like if you buy them, you buy them. The people that buy the steroids, it's very closeted. The names of the steroid companies aren't really put out there for everyone. Really. So I don't think I know any regular person who could name a steroid company off the top of their head. But I know people who could probably name a type of weed or a type of drug or a drug company from the top of their head specifically. Cool. But
yeah.
I
But
like that word they use, social capital, and I fully agree too. Alex Eubank, his is also very problematic because yes, he has been open about it, but the newer fans, the people just coming in, just starting the gym journey, would not know that he's not natural. They would just
yeah,
dive straight into his content. They would just think, okay, this is what I gotta do, and then they find out. Then after that, in their head, the way he's phrased it, in their head, they're gonna be, oh, his problem was getting addicted to it. His problem was it made him feel too good, so he just kept. kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going. Who, me, I'm different. I can avoid that. But you've been no, like it's hard to say if you've never been addicted to anything, it's hard to beat addiction.
Yeah.
I have me personally, I haven't been addicted to nothing, and I pray every day for that. That's good. But I've seen people addicted to stuff, and I know it's hard to beat it. It's hard to beat addiction because it's like you're using every part of your body to beat it, but your body just like it's that's all it knows now. It just wants to go right back to it. It wants that's all it wants.
Yeah,
So
I don't mind to cut you off, but
mm,
do you
go ahead.
think you will ever take steroids?
No, I don't think anywhere. Even now. I'm like you can feed it. Even now, where I'm at, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm satisfied with my body. Of course, I'm not satisfied with my body. I don't even think I'll ever get to a point where I'm satisfied with my body. But I just know I'm always going to be happy enough with my own body to never take
Yeah.
steroids. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's the thing. You can be unsatisfied with your body, but you just have to appreciate your body and be happy. You have to appreciate the hard work that comes from putting the natural work into the gym.
Yeah, I want to
That's
give
the
some
truth.
advice. Yeah, I agree with you, but I want to actually give
Hmm.
some advice to the people that want to take steroids and don't know what to do. I would say, l- do
Mm.
your
You have
research.
experience? You have experience or something?
Huh?
You have experience or something?
No, I don't got experience. I mean, but I'm saying like, I know I was like thinking like, you know how people want to take steroids just because they don't like the way they look.
Hmm.
I'm trying to give those people advice on why not to take
Oh,
steroids and just build that muscle naturally. That's what I meant. See, you trying to catch me there. I saw that. I don't take
yeah,
steroids, my boy. But yeah.
yeah. Let me in the kitchen. Yeah, I mean, it sounded like you was about to give a whole tutorial. You take a belt, strap it on your arm, put a needle and
Nah.
everything.
See, you just gave a whole you just gave a whole step by step tutorial. You just
Yeah,
knew.
but if I took it, it would be pretty obvious. Like, yeah, I know someone who takes some testosterone, so I know what
You do
he's
take it.
described to me.
You take
He's
it.
described. It'll be pretty obvious about taking it. I'll be much more bigger,
Your
taller, and
arms got bigger in 3 months. You take it. Hey, yo,
in three
guys,
months. 3 months is
don't let him
nothing.
fool you. Do not let him fool you. He take it.
3 months is nothing. 3 months is actually good realistic time for just a small 1 inch like
No, it's not.
increase.
You came back and you were slim. There's no way you lost that
Wow.
much weight. You're
Okay.
lying. You're lying. You're lying.
All right, but continue what you were saying. What's
Yeah,
your
but
advice to these people?
yeah, to give advice to these people, right?
Hmm.
Um, I would say, like I explained before, this kind of bulking thing, I feel like it's cool, but I feel like some people don't like really want to do it. There's some called lean
Hmm.
bulking too, which
Hmm.
I'm gonna try to explain it to y'all. Which y'all um obtain a good amount of muscle mass while maintaining this certain leanness, right? Which
Hmm.
means you gain little to no body fat, but you still gain muscle mass if you understand, right? But yeah, in order to do that, you would have to eat high protein, low carbs. You can eat carbs, but like you have to like dial it down just a little bit and eat healthy, which means no like processed foods, no high like I want to say calorie because lean bulking is like you're gonna have to eat a substantial amount, but just be like cautious on what you intake into your body, right? So
Hmm.
to to wrap up what I'm trying to say is just don't eat foods that make your body sluggish, right? You're gonna know, right? Because we all eat like McDonald's and all that. It makes your body sluggish. That's your body reacting to the processed food. That's how you know not to eat it. So all I'm saying, eat healthy, and then your body's gonna grow on its own. You don't need steroids. Your body got all of these growth hormones, I would say, that grow over time with hard work and dedication and a good diet. So you follow those steps, you do not need
Hmm.
steroids. It's like
Yep.
it's simple.
Yep.
Yeah, you agree, right?
I, I fully agree.
Yeah.
Um,
You
I
tried
think
bulking
if
before?
unless me, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, I've tried bulking before. Um, I think a lot of gym goers, even women, men, women, for the desirable body type that you want. what a lot of people are going to do is they're always going to try to cut them bulk. A lot of people are going to, from what I've seen more majority people who are, I guess, on the more overweight side or more like the fat on them
Yeah,
end up in the gym. So they end up wanting to cut first, lose weight. Then after they're like, hold on, since now I'm skinny, I want to, well, now I lost a considerable amount of weight. I want to bulk. But they end up doing it wrong and they end up, getting into the accidental trap of, increasing their weight
yeah, too much
and
and
just
stuff, right?
eating and eat too much and just eating and put the bulk to a crazy level, crazy standard when it was never supposed to go that far and be that deep. But
Uh,
to go further with that though, yeah, I've tried definitely bulking before. I noticed some improvement, but if you don't have the financial money or you don't have the right diet, if you don't have the right diet, it's not going to work out for you. That's the truth.
yeah,
You need to be eating the right foods. That's what people need to touch on. Eating the
yeah.
right foods. But I understand this whole thing about steroids. It's just the idea of shortcuts. The fact that you're gaining muscle while losing fat, you can save so much time in the gym and you can have your dream body earlier. No one wants to put the hard work in anymore. Now everyone is
At
thinking work
all,
smarter,
bro.
not
Like not
no
at
one wants
all.
to put in the hard work anymore. Now everyone's thinking work smarter, not harder. When that can be added to certain aspects of life, yes, but not all aspects of life. I think that has to be added to certain aspects of life where it
Mhm.
comes to like maybe getting a job, all that, maybe doing a test, work smarter, not harder, cool. But when you're doing an activity in the gym, where there's at the gym, there's no shortcuts. That's the end. That's the end off too. If you're listening to this podcast, hoping we tell you a shortcut,
It's
there is no shortcuts in the gym.
no shortcuts. Time.
Me and this guy right here. How long you been going to the gym, Devontae? You've been going what?
2 years, like two
2
years,
years?
3 months.
2 years, 3 months. I've
Yeah,
been going. I've been going about a year and a half. I'm telling you, there's no shortcuts in the gym. There's gonna be days where you're down on yourself. You don't think you look that good. You're not happy about your body. There's gonna be those days. I'm telling you, it's the gym is not easy. The gym is not. It's a choice and a very and one that you have to stay dedicated to.
discipline.
One
Gotta
that
have discipline.
you gotta have discipline. There's no point.
Gotta
There's
have
no
it.
the shortcuts. The shortcuts for the gym are not going to be worth it. I'm saying we do all
Yeah,
this for the gym so we can when our bodies start hitting their natural decline, we can stay looking good. We can stay in
yeah.
health. We can stay able to wake up and actually walk a pair of stairs. People that do steroids once your body starts hitting that decline,
Excuse me.
that's it. That's it. You
Walk
don't
a
have to
pair of
still
stairs
take
though, Edwin.
walk up just some staircase, basic flight of stairs. That's it. That's it. But people taking stairs, once your body hits that decline, you're still gonna have to take
I
those
still
steroids
be
until
out
your
of
body
breath
can.
though. I still be our school steps. I be out of breath.
Yeah, that's different steps. I'm not gonna talk about that. Those steps are deep. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Though. Once Devontae knows it too. Once your body starts taking a decline, bro, at that age,
yeah.
at that age,
Like
then yeah, that's it. You have to still take steroids, and you're gonna be losing out.
yeah. We sound like trainers right now. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what?
We sound like personal trainers giving advice. Nah, but I wanted to actually touch down on like some like examples on how to gain natural muscle because we was talking about steroids a lot in the other podcast and we really wasn't giving them like
hmm
ideas and advice on how to gain that muscle naturally. We were just talking about how people gain it unnaturally. That's why I wanted to touch down on that topic real quick. But back to the influencers, right? I want to talk about an influencer that I look up to. That took steroids, right? But I still kind of look up to him because I'm not gonna lie, people physique on steroids do look good. It do look
hmm
good, but you could tell when somebody's unnaturally big. Like it's like
You could tell.
it's like your shoulder's not supposed to be that big. You're not the Incredible Hulk. Come on.
No.
But to get back on topic, right? What's his name? It's a it's a guy named Adam Yu. I don't really think he
hmm
takes steroids, but it's like in the back of my head, it's like he do take steroids because he said in his video that excuse me that he went on vacation, did not go to the gym. He went to the gym 3 times that week on vacation. He came back, he looked way better before after he came back than before. So I'm like, you went to the gym 3 days, 3 times that whole time, and you came back looking bigger. It's like the times don't be adding up. So I be trying to piece stuff together, try to figure out if these people do take steroids, because a lot of them are not gonna admit it because they try to protect their image. Oh, we get into images too, because a lot of these people is not gonna admit that they take steroids to protect their image because
Hmm.
we see all these YouTubers that have a big chest, big biceps, big everything, and we know they take steroids, but they gonna still say they're natural, and they're putting these false narratives in these kids' heads, teenagers' heads, even grown-ups that actually look up to them, because we know grown-ups that go to the gym and want to get bigger, right?
Exactly.
So they look up to them and they're telling them they're natural, and all reality they're not. And these kids is looking at them, not no, yeah, these kids is looking at them thinking they can obtain that physique that they have, but in all
Hmm.
reality that physique is based off steroids. Steroids and gym
Exactly.
culture is a big thing, and it should be banned. I feel like steroids should be banned everywhere. I feel like a lot of people lack discipline and
Hmm.
lack I would say confidence too, because a lot of people not confident to go in the gym and be in an environment with I would say a lot of people, because in the gym it's actually a lot of people in the gym. After five, it's a lot. But
Hmm.
yeah, a lot of people lack that confidence to go in the gym, and people are like self conscious about their surroundings and how they look in the gym and everything. Just work out, you know. Everything's gonna come naturally to you, right?
Exactly.
Don't take the short route. Don't do all that extra stuff, because when you're extra, I would say you're gonna get extra results, but no, you're not gonna get extra results. Doing extra things not gonna get extra results. I feel like fundamentals take you a long way. Like we talked about, have a good diet, go to the gym, be disciplined. Like Emma said, we gonna have days where we feel like we not gonna want to go, but those are days that
Yep.
count. You know, those are days you're supposed to push past and just go, right?
Yep.
But I'm gonna stop yapping ear off. Emma, you wanna chime in?
Yeah, I fully do. I feel like this is great to talk about, and a great segue and a great way to end off this, what is this again? This podcast.
Fourth
Sorry, my
podcast, yeah.
brain slipped over. This fourth podcast. I feel like something positive. I just say we weren't going to give you guys shortcuts, but we'll tell you the truth about how to be successful in the gym for people who are from, specifically me and Devontae, who I feel like we both, who Devontae achieved just, a little bit more than me, but I feel like we both achieved, somewhere near
Now
our
we both
true,
achieved what we
our
were
body goals.
yeah, our body on what we was like trying to achieve, you know? We
Yeah, that's,
both grinded, we both put in the effort and
mhm.
the hard work that we were supposed to put in, you know?
So yeah, we'll give you guys the real. We'll give you guys the real.
Yeah.
Jim, Jim, don't. It's not gonna be a. I wake up and I do it whatever day I want to do it type mentality. I'm telling you, you're gonna do that. Then suddenly you're gonna blink. Summer's gonna be right here. Now you're like, oh, let me go to the gym
Yeah.
with one month left over.
I want my
I'm
summer
telling you, you're
body.
going to the gym. You're going to the gym for 1 month before summer. You're not gonna get your summer body. No one gets it. No one gets that in a month. That's the truth. So I'm telling you that right now, you in the bed thinking about going to the gym, all that. Go pay for that membership. Go, 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 go. That's all I can say. Work out at home. Do
Yeah.
something do something to stay fit. Do something to stay in the loop. Going to the gym, you don't have to even pay for it. Just basic working out. It keeps your mind fresh. When you're doing it all natural way, you actually get dopamine literally from it, which is another hormone. You get dopamine from it, which makes you feel good, which makes you feel like, okay, I'm succeeding. I'm telling you, those milestones that you hit in the gym, amazing. You see your first V line, you see
Yeah.
your bicep getting bigger, you see your first two abs,
Two
three
abs.
abs, four abs, six abs, like what I'm saying, get a first six pack,
Even eight sometimes.
even eight. It's amazing. It's amazing to look back, especially me. I like taking progress pictures and just posting it online. I like just taking those type of stuff that I can look back on and I can be like, whoa, I was really like skinny here. Or I really was had a
Yeah,
pudgy build here.
yeah,
Or I
he
really like
and he's not lying. He was really,
I really
not really skinny. You was kind of
I
like,
had a pudgy I had a
yeah,
pudgy build. I had a chubby build, and specifically in the stomach. It's like it was in my face and my stomach. My arms and everything else was regular, but literally I look like an egg. So I was like, yo, looking back on the pictures, looking back now, I'm very super proud of myself. It took a year and a half to get this far of
Yeah,
consistent, maybe 3 to 4 times a week. And I'm just now moving up to maybe 5 times a week. But 3 to 4 times a week in that 1.5 year, just constantly just going, boom, 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 boom. Everyday cardio, everyday cardio. Also play a sport too. Very mindful. You don't have to be good at it. You don't have to be a professional, but play some sport that's keeping you, you know,
active,
keeping
keeping
you
you active.
keeping you active.
Yeah,
Basketball, whatever it has to be, basic soccer, basically even just a little mile jog in the morning. Do something that's just keeping your heart up. Strength training alone isn't really gonna help you. It's gonna help you, but you still need that cardio.
yep. Still need endurance, but I want to get back kind of on topic. We was on topic, but I want to get back to talk about doctors, right? There's some doctors that, especially those involved in fitness or like clinics, have even self-prescribed anabolic steroids or misused them. So meaning like they like how can I put it? You see how we take medicine and they kind of got like names on it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they took the steroids by accident, which I don't believe, but you can actually, if you want to believe that,
They're doctors.
yeah, they're doctors. Come on, like you
They're
prescribed the
doctors.
medicine to us. You did not
They
misuse them.
should
How do you
they know better.
misuse them? Yeah, how do you misuse
They know
them?
better. And if doctors are also getting addicted and falling into the trap too, what does that tell you?
Yeah,
That
and
tells you they know the full health effects too. They know how that stuff affects your body too.
yeah,
And you
like you
think
went to
you're
school
gonna
for this.
and you think you taking steroids, you think you're gonna fall in the trap, that you're gonna be safe, you're gonna get just as addicted. I promise you. Addiction is no one's special enough to break out of addiction. Once you're in that trap, you don't even know you're in that trap. You're addicted. That's why you never start. The best way to be addiction is to never start.
Yep, I agree. And sometimes like these doctors, it leads like to medical board investigations or like license suspensions, which I feel like suspensions I don't think is enough because we know athletes do have a choice when they want to take steroids, but sometimes it could be the coach pushing them to perform great, and in their head the ego starts to kick in. Like ego is the big thing in your head. Like the ego drives everything, like everything.
Mm-hmm.
Ego and hunger, right? I would say ego and hunger.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of go hand in hand, right?
Yep.
When your ego kicks in or you're hungry for, oh my god, I see like this, that you see a person walking on the street, oh my god, he's so big, I want to be like him. And
Yep. Yep. I'm telling you,
and
that feeling of wanting to be better
yep, and
than everybody else around you.
we see these people inject in there, like for example, you can inject a needle into your calf to make your calf get bigger, which I feel like a steroid is kind of like injecting oil into your muscles to make it kind of bigger. Like I see people have deformed biceps from taking steroids. Like if you search up a man injecting oil into his arm, it's like his arm is
Mm-hmm.
bigger than his head. It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And his shoulders and his tricep and his bicep is not even or proportionate. So it's like, bro, you wanna look this good short term, or you just want to stay fit long term. Like overall, you want to do all the hard work now. So when you're old, you could just do your push ups, do your sit ups, and stay in relatively lean. Right? You don't want to over.
Exactly.
You know, I want to say overdo it because you could like overdo it in the gym and still recover. It's not like you're injecting steroids. You can still recover from that. Steroids, some people can't recover from that. Some people it lasts them all the way until they like 70. We see Ronnie Coleman is in a wheelchair because steroids.
Mm-hmm.
We see Ronnie Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bodybuilder that won the Mr. Olympia like more than 5 times, I think. But I
Mm-hmm.
kind of like he kind of like sold his body to that stage. If you get what I'm saying, like he
I
put
get what you're saying. Yeah.
blood, sweat, and tears into that stage, and he trained so hard that I feel like he did hit his natural plateau, or he just took steroids off rip. I feel like he took steroids off rip. I'm not gonna lie, he was way too big. Like his legs was like he was huge. Like you would think he was like the real Incredible Hulk in like real life. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then later on down the line, it started to what's that word like? It started to backlash on him, right? It started to backlash. He was in a wheelchair.
Forgive him.
He could barely
I know what you're
walk.
saying.
He could barely walk. And to this day, I don't think I haven't saw him walk. So to wrap everything up, what I was just trying to say is be careful on what you inject into your body. I'm gonna keep telling y'all, just be careful because God gave us our natural growth hormones, everything to grow off natural
Hmm.
resources. Just be careful. But
Hmm.
Emin, Salmon,
Yeah. So I got thoughts. Basically, um, I will recommend a movie for you guys for anybody who's ever thought about taking steroids. Just watch Magazine Dreams. It has Jonathan Majors in it,
yeah,
the same guy who acted as Kane. It's a movie about bodybuilding. It's an obsession movie about just the main character is obsessing over bodybuilding and how he can become a great in it to the point that he does. Yeah, yeah, to the point that he does
yeah,
pretty like bad, dishonorable things to to go somewhere high in the bodybuilding stage. And the bad things he does aren't outright steroids, but they're pretty much allegories for steroids. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Selling your body, selling your future, selling years and years of your future for that small moment of praise. That's really what you got to think about. If you're taking steroids to impress any girl, impress any
President girl.
and impress any boy, whatever you're into, impress anybody, or you're just taking steroids to feel good about yourself, it's
It's
not
never gonna
worth it for
work
that
out.
small moment. It's not worth it for that small dopamine hit or that small moment of praise. That's a blink of your life. You're
Yeah.
doing all this for a blink of your life that's
You
gonna
could
last
lose.
till
You could lose
maybe,
20 years of your life, depending on how much you inject into your body. You could lose
and
a
that's
lot of
crazy.
years.
20 years of your life just so you can get a little compliment that'll make you happy in your brain, release chemicals to make you happy. It's not worth it. Do something more
Yeah,
fulfilling in your time. Do it the natural way and get a hobby. Do something more fulfilling that
yeah.
stimulates your brain. That's
'Cause
all the thoughts I have.
yeah, I
I'll
want to
leave
say
my
one
note
more
there.
thing. Yeah, my
Yeah.
fault, my
What do you want
fault.
to say?
But yeah, I want
Go
to
ahead.
leave one more thing. You're kind of like implementing these chemicals that not supposed to be in your body. These chemicals that we see people put in their body is not supposed to be in their body. It's not natural. You feel me? What I said before, like God give you everything natural. Everything you try to inject in your body is not natural. Except shots. Like he's a doctor. If you need IV shots, then you're good. But the steroids is like it's unnatural.
Hmm.
But to
Hmm.
wrap everything up for our final podcast, I just wanna leave y'all with this one thing. Just be motivated, drink your water. Water is
Oh.
important. And
Uh,
you know, eat right. You don't need no
hmm.
steroids to become who you want to become in the future. It takes time, right?
Hmm.
And if you look up to these influencers and you need any advice, do not go to them influencers. Go to the internet.
I'm telling you,
Go
but
to the internet.
the
Do
last
your
thing I'll
research.
say,
Yeah, that's it
literally,
though.
that's very important. The last thing I'll say is do your research, and if a doctor is prescribing it to you, take it under doctor's supervision only if you generally need it for your health. And also, this is a final note. Take this into account too. If you do get on it, you have to dig that needle. That big, it's a very thick needle. You have to dig it into your muscle. Your muscle is probably one of the hardest parts of your body, and
Yeah,
you're digging a very big needle into it. So don't think it's not going to hurt. It's going to hurt at all those times, and it's going to be very noticeable on your whatever muscle you put it in that you're taking it. There's going to be a huge red dot right there.
yeah,
And
yeah.
other red dots are going to start popping up around it. So I'm telling you, that praise you're getting, people will discredit it so fast as soon as they see you're taking steroids. So I'm telling you, it's not worth it. Just do it the natural way.
You're gonna have
That's my final
saggy
thoughts. That's it.
muscles.
Literally.
Saggy muscles. But yeah, just don't inject nothing into your body because if you make a wrong move and you hit a wrong nerve, you probably could possibly paralyze yourself if you hit a wrong nerve, injecting a needle and you're not a professional. But
Hmm.
I'm gonna stop yapping. Just take into consideration what me and my friend Edmund said, and hopefully we might do this later on or soon, another podcast soon. And yeah, Edmund, any last words?
No, that's it. Don't take
Yeah.
steroids.
Uh
Only under health and supervision.
yeah, I
All right.
appreciate anybody that's listening. All right, Edmund.
Yeah.
See you, my boy.
I appreciate everyone. See you.
Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all.